Number 1. Premila Lal. On September 6, 2013, 18-year-old Pramila Lau decided to pull a prank on her friend at her house in Colorado. Unfortunately, the prank went horribly wrong and Pramila was shot dead. The incident happened on a Friday night at around 8 p.m., where Pramila and her 12-year-old cousin snuck into the family home and Pramila hid in the closet and waited to scare 21-year-old Nerrek Daniel Galley and her 15-year-old brother. Unbeknownst to her, Nerrek heard movement and believed there was an intruder in the house. He armed himself and gave a gun to the 15-year-old boy and began searching the home. As Pramila heard both of them come into the room, she jumped out of the closet. Nerrek was so surprised that he began to shoot his handgun, which hit Pramila. Realizing his mistake, Nerrek and the two boys quickly put her in her car and drove her to the nearest hospital. An hour later, she was pronounced dead. Nerrek was arrested the next day and was charged with child abuse, reckless endangerment, and permitting a juvenile to have a firearm. No other information has been released to the public. Number 2. Radio prank goes wrong. 46-year-old Jacintha Saldanha was a nurse who worked at the King Edward VII's Hospital in London, England. On December 2, 2012, it was announced that the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, who was pregnant at the time, was brought to the hospital as she was feeling unwell due to severe morning sickness. Once Australian radio hosts Mel Greig and Mike Christian, who worked for the station Today FM, heard the news, they decided to play a little prank on the hospital. On December 4th, at about 5:30 a.m. UK time, the pair called the hospital and got through to Saldanha, where they pretended to be Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Charles. She fell for the prank and put them through to the nurse that was looking after Kate. Here's a short clip of the call.
We've been handed a phone number, all right? And we have been told that this phone number is the hospital where Kate Middleton is currently staying. Now, we thought we'd give it a call. We don't want to cause any trouble.
Yeah.
We don't want to stress her out because she's doing it tough.
Yep.
But I reckon we can maybe get her on the radio tonight. We can't just ring up and go, "Hi, it's MC and Mel from the Summer 30. Can we chat to Kate?" Hang up. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
You are going to be the Queen.
This is awesome.
I'm going to be Prince Charles.
Hello, I'm the Queen.
Let's give this hospital a call.
Okay.
And see if we can get Kate Middleton or maybe even Prince Wills on the phone tonight. So the number's going in. Oh, jeez, I hope this happens.
Hello, good morning, King Edward VII Hospital.
Oh, hello there. Could I please speak to Kate, please, my granddaughter?
Oh, yes, just hold on.
Thank you.
Are they putting us through?
Yes.
If this has worked, it's the easiest prank call we've ever made.
What about this one?
Kate, my darling, are you there?
Good morning, Mum. This is the nurse speaking. How may I help you?
Hello, I'm just after my granddaughter, Kate. I want to see how her little tummy bug is going.
Mummy!
She's sleeping at the moment, and she has had an uneventful night.
The prank call was broadcast on the Hot 30 Countdown radio show on December 5th, after it was cleared by the radio station's lawyers. Just 2 days after the broadcast, Jacintha Saldanha was found dead in her nurse's quarters at the hospital. She had committed suicide by cutting her wrists and had hanged herself. Saldanha had left 3 notes, one of which blamed the radio stunt for her suicide, another note describing her funeral arrangements, and the final note was directed at her employer, criticizing their handling of events that preceded the prank call. On December 10, 2012, the Hot 30 Countdown show was cancelled. British prosecutors said in a statement that they would not be pressing charges against the radio host because, however misguided, the telephone call was intended as a harmless prank. Number 3. Timmy Hill. On June 12, 2014, 3 teenage boys walked home after a late-night swim. 2 of the boys, James Collins and Christian Ballard, decided to pull a prank. The boys thought it would be funny to throw their wet underwear at a nearby car. The nearest car they spotted was B.D. Gillespie's police cruiser. As the boys pulled their prank, Gillespie's wife witnessed them in the driveway and started to shout, and her husband woke up and heard the commotion. The boys quickly ran away and met up at Ballard's house. They then received a text from another one of their friends, 18-year-old Timmy Hill, and Heslop and Collins met up with him. B.D. Gillespie reportedly got up and put on his full uniform and drove his car for over 2 hours up and down Kegley Trestle Road in Mercer County to try to find the culprits of the prank. At around 1:30 a.m., he found the 3 young men on the road near Timmy Hill's house. According to statements, Gillespie got out of his car, walked towards the boys and asked, "Who's been throwing underwear at my car?" He then took down their names and dates of birth and took several pictures, including this one, which shows Timmy on the left, James Collins in the middle, and Wyatt Heslop on the right. All three explained that they weren't the ones that pulled the prank. After some time, Gillespie told Collins and Heslop that they could go, while he continued to question Timmy Hill, who he had previous confrontations with. Gillespie claims Hill started to act strange and uncooperative, so he attempted to put him in handcuffs. Hill allegedly refused to put his hands behind his head and the two started to struggle. They both fell to the ground and Gillespie pulled out and used his pepper spray and baton. A neighbor witnessed the struggle and jumped in to help. They all then fell down a 6 to 10 foot hill into a drainage ditch. After around 2.5 minutes of fighting, Gillespie claims that Timmy Hill started to grab at his belt in an attempt to get his gun. He claims he repeatedly shouted, "Get off my gun!" And once he managed to get to his feet, he aimed his gun at Hill and fired 2 rounds at him, which hit his chest and head. In an interview, Cruz, the neighbor that attempted to help, explained that he began walking up the hill as he believed everything was under control when he heard the 2 shots. Hill was killed instantly. Hill's mother has said that the state trooper harassed her son for months before the shooting. A Mercer County grand jury decided not to indict Gillespie on any charges after their investigation. Hill's parents have filed a lawsuit which alleges wrongful death, civil rights violations, and unlawful arrest. Number 4. Police prank. In 2014, 2 well-known Czech actors took part in a prank sketch for a TV show charity project tackling the issues of disability. In the sketch, Peter Kurtvitnicek and Jan Pometsil dressed up as police officers that had disabilities. One was in a wheelchair and the other actor used crutches. They then flagged down nearby motorists and gave them tickets for speeding. The prank quickly backfired, however, when they stopped one motorist who had a heart attack once he realized he was being filmed as part of a TV show prank. Ironically, the motorist they pranked as part of the sketch to raise awareness about disability wound up in a wheelchair himself. Both actors found themselves in a Prague court, charged with impersonating police officers after the unidentified man's family made an official complaint. Peter Kurtvitnicek and Jan Pometsil were both given suspended jail sentences. Number 5. Adrian Broadway. In February of 2014, 15-year-old Adrian Broadway and a group of her friends decided to play a prank on a teenage boy in retaliation to a prank that was pulled on them at Halloween. The group of 7 arrived at the teen's home in Little Rock, Arkansas, where they proceeded to vandalize his dad's parked car by spreading leaves, toilet paper, eggs, and mayonnaise on it. After finding his damaged car, instead of calling the police, 48-year-old Willie Noble waited a full 45 minutes for the teens to return. When the group did come back, Noble stepped out of his house and opened fire at the car. Adrian Broadway was shot in the head and died. A bullet also hit the 18-year-old driver, Deshaun Nelson's arm. The car then sped away and traveled to a nearby gas station where they called the police. Willie Noble was arrested and charged with 1 count of first-degree murder, 1 count of a terroristic act, and 5 counts of aggravated assault. Noble claims that he only fired his gun to scare off the group of teens. In 2015, Noble was found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He will be eligible for parole in 21 years if he has good behavior. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to see more.